Flooding across our state. Want to share some of these reports with you. In Yadkinville, a wind gust toppled a tree onto a school bus. This is at Yadkinville Elementary. You see the photo there. Reporter Aaron Burnett took these pictures for us. You see the limbs completely surrounding the bus. Aaron is talking with the school's principal, and we'll have more tonight on WXI I-12 News at 6 o'clock, so stick around. Another one this afternoon. Governor Roy Cooper toured the damage caused by a tornado to a middle school in Wilson County. The twister ripped the roof off of Springfield Middle School. Part of a wall and a ceiling also collapsed.
It looked like an explosion. The window was blown out. What was amazing to me were, a strong brick structure, how many different bricks were everywhere. Devastating damage, chairs everywhere, insulation hanging from the ceiling, light bulbs hanging, really devastating.
Yeah, sure is. Thankfully, no students or staff were inside the building at the time the tornado hit. Now, the school district is still assessing the damage there. Back here at home in Summerfield, viewer Rebecca Farley sent us this picture from her home. You can see the large tree on the ground in her backyard, a big one there. It doesn't appear the tree hit any buildings, but it is blocking a driveway, so a little bit of an inconvenience for sure. In Winston-Salem, Stephen Jenkins sent us this picture. He says one of his neighbor's trees fell on his shed and destroyed it. This happened on Bell Arbor Drive near the Davidson County line south of town. Thankfully, no one was hurt there. Debbie's also causing flooding issues in eastern North Carolina. In Fayetteville, you can see water rushing down the street in one neighborhood. The storm dumped more than 5 inches of rain in the area, creating dangerous driving conditions. Flash flooding caused 170 lane closures or incidents. In Bladenboro, floodwaters damaged a pharmacy there. The National Weather Service says between 4 and 7 inches of rain have fallen there, leading to standing water in the town that's 2 to 3 foot deep. We're told emergency rescue teams went door to door to make sure residents were safe. Crews also had to perform at least one water rescue in that area. Give you a look now at what's currently happening with Tropical Storm Debbie. The latest information coming into us here. Satellite and radar showing the system spinning. It's really taking up most of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, but most of the heavy rain has lifted north and west of the triad right now. So the radar is still pretty active. The center of the storm has started to enter our state. It's crossed the state line into North Carolina, but there is still very much some impactful weather moving in. Something I do want to turn your attention to is this band that's moving in now through parts of Chatham, Randolph, Alamance, and Guilford counties. Moving right up along I-40. This one right here is going to pack a punch. There's going to be some really heavy, blinding rain with this band. So if you plan to travel along I-40 or anywhere east of Greensboro, Burlington, Graham, Mebane, over toward Durham, this one feeder band into Tropical Storm Debbie is kind of swinging up into our area. It's going to cross over the north and eastern triad here over the next hour or so. This one's going to have a lot of heavy rain, maybe some thunder and lightning with it too. So this is what things like this are what we're most concerned about for adding on to those rainfall totals and maybe causing some additional flash flooding concerns. Because if you live in Greensboro, right here on the east side of town, this band's going to come and move over, but the direction it's moving, it's going to be over you for a long time. And these bands are producing 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall rate. So some just truly torrential rain with this. The longer it sits overhead, the more likely you are to have some issues with flooding. So just east of the triad along I-40, a big heavy band from Debbie moving in. For the most part in the triad area, it's a good steady, I would say light to moderate rain at times. There are some heavier embedded pockets. We've been keeping an eye on this. The rain in our Piedmont Triad communities has gone from a really heavy, constant rain, like earlier this morning, to now more of an off and on shower situation. But as you see, there are still certainly some downpours moving through. Driving has not been fun today. It will not be fun for the rest of the day. We still have a few more hours to go till we start to see some good improvements across the area. So it's raining in Greensboro, High Point, over to Winston-Salem. Lexington about to get a little bit of a break. And we'll get a brief break here in the Triad as well, but this next big band I was just talking about will begin to wrap in toward the Greensboro, Burlington, Stokesdale, Summerfield, and eventually Reedsville area over the next hour. Let's see what else is going on across the area. Some more showers down I-85 toward the Charlotte area. The real heavy stuff is along the Virginia border and in the North Carolina mountains right now. Stokes County has a really good heavy tropical shower moving through the Danbury area and over to King Mount area, about to get some good rain as well. You've just had a good soaking. Hillsville down to Galax, Sparta, Boone, and Jefferson. That axis of rain from that outer band now kind of parked over western North Carolina and in the mountains, so we'll likely start to see some isolated flash flooding events start to happen in western North Carolina too, with this big heavy band from Debbie. And a wide view shows that is really the heaviest activity. It's really all centered directly over us. We took it on the chin from Debbie. Everything the storm had to offer inland, we are getting it right now in the Piedmont Triad, or we already have gotten it, I should say. Rain all the way up to Richmond, Roanoke, even some clouds and showers from eastern Kentucky into West Virginia too, even into East Tennessee as well. So this is a big system, generally off to the south and east of the center of circulation into parts of the South Carolina low country, and then eastern North Carolina. There are more isolated bands. You know, the rain's not necessarily quite as constant and heavy, more scattered, but still there is a good amount of heavy rain rotating in. Until the center of Debbie moves north of us, we'll still have to worry about some flash flooding issues. Speaking of, let me show you where the center of Debbie is. Now, we don't get a new update from the National Hurricane Center until 5 p.m., so we've still got about an hour to go until some new information, but this is still pretty current of what we're seeing right now. This is a graphic with the radar, the latest tropical information, and then the center, the track of Debbie. You can see a couple hours ago, the center of circulation, the system crossed into North Carolina from South Carolina, and it's in just east of the Charlotte area, moving north-northwest. It's made a little bit of a turn, so with that slight turn, it's going to track right up through the center of the Triad. The center of circulations will be directly overhead here in a couple hours as this thing continues to move through. Maximum sustained winds are still at about 40 miles per hour. We haven't gotten a 40-mile-per-hour gust here in the Triad in quite some time. Most of those really gusty winds happened with that earlier band we got this morning. We had a 52-mile-per-hour gust at PTI Airport, so certainly impressive stuff, but wind's not as big of an issue anymore. And we've started to see some power outages improve across the area. I came on for an update at 2 p.m. a couple hours ago, and we had 120,000 power outages reported across the state. Now, just checked before I came on here, and that's down to about 80,000. So there are some improvements as that big bad band of Debbie moves out of our area. Crews are having there's a bit more of an opportunity for some improvements, the crews to get out there, restore power, which we're thankful for, but still certainly some issues from Debbie. Again, the center, last update just east of Charlotte. By the 5 o'clock update, I would say it's probably just south of the Triad. It's probably somewhere near Rowan, Davidson, Davie County, maybe Randolph, in this region south of the Triad. And after that, about dinner time, it'll be moving just directly overhead. There won't be a calm, clear eye. The sun isn't going to come out, and the winds won't completely stop. It's not a big bad hurricane, but it'll still kind of be interesting that the center is passing directly overhead, because oftentimes these systems are east of us, right? But this track brings it right up through our area. So it's going to come up 52, pretty close to Winston, Kernersville, High Point, and Greensboro over the next few hours. And then from there, it'll start to accelerate off to the north through Virginia as soon as tonight. So once Debbie moves past us, it will move out of here in a hurry. That's some good news. We'll really start to see our impactful rain and wind drop off pretty quickly overnight. And the forward speed's up to 10 miles per hour. So I know it's not moving fast. It's not traveling up I-85 as fast as you would in your car, but it is certainly moving our direction at a better speed than it was. Earlier, it was moving at about 3 miles per hour when it first made landfall. So as we've gone through time here, it's starting to speed up, and I anticipate the next advisory, it'll be moving even faster. We've still got some rain and a little bit of wind in our area. Take a look at some of the recent wind gusts we've gotten. These are not as high as they were earlier, right? That big band that moved through this morning brought most of the wind, but we're still seeing some 20, maybe 30 mile per hour gusts at times. Remember, that big band is off to the west now. That's where our highest wind gusts are. Things are a bit more calm and kind of just breezy outside at the moment in the Piedmont Triad. And I'll also share this with you. You may notice later on this evening a shift in wind direction. That's because the center of Debbie has passed us by. Winds all day have been from the east and northeast. So remember, a tropical system spins counterclockwise. The center is to our south. We're getting all this flow like this. Once the center moves up past our area, the winds will shift and come around from the opposite direction. So that's how you know the center has passed by as well. It's still very breezy outside, anywhere from 10 to 20 mile per hour sustained winds. It's a nasty tropical day. I mean, the only good thing about it is it's not 90 degrees, right? The clouds and the rain have kept us a bit more mild today, but nobody's worried about the temperature. This is a day where I don't need to show you the temperature. You want to know whether it's raining or not, right? But just for good measure, we're in the 70s, low 80s across the area. With the rain around, we still do have that risk of flash flooding in the area. That will continue until this rain moves out. And something else you got to think about, all the water that's falling in the urban areas and stuff eventually has to drain out somewhere. So the creeks will continue to rise a little bit after the rain ends, and the rivers will also start to rise too. A very busy, messy flood alert map here. It's not very often we have this many alerts going on across the area. They're all flood related. We have a flood watch, a flash flood warning for most of the area, and even a few flood warnings. I know it's kind of confusing to get them all mixed up. Just know there's a lot of water and there's flooding happening around the area, right? This map here, I'll show you, I think this is pretty interesting, only shows the flash flood alerts. And basically every county in our area is under a flash flood warning right now, at least through this evening in the early part of the overnight hours. Montgomery not included right now, Davie not included, and Allegheny not included. But everyone else, pretty much the core of our area, all under a flash flood warning right now from all this rain from Debbie. So be careful out on the roads moving forward, and especially as you head home from work. Our flash flood risk still elevated for the rest of today. We still have that level 4 out of 4 high risk of flash flooding. These are not issued very often. It's the first time I've seen pink on our map here at my time at Channel 12. So that goes to show these are only issued when flooding is expected, and it's almost guaranteed to happen, or has already happened because of all the rain we've gotten from Debbie. So the forecast is on track. We've still got a little ways to go. We've gotten a little bit more rain left over. What I will do now is, just for fun, I want to look at some of our weather cameras and maybe show you what it looks like outside currently. I'll just kind of flip back and forth between them. We'll take a look together at how things look across the area. Blues Lake right now, some rain, some wind, very low clouds too. You can tell it certainly looks just kind of stormy and unsettled outside, right? And also earlier I was messing with our cameras and I did a time lapse from Winston-Salem. Check this out. This is as that first band of Debbie was moving through. This is really cool. Look, you can see the sun come up, all those low clouds, and then the rain bands move through. See them passing by and the wind blowing the trees out there. At times the Winston skyline off in the distance disappearing. So it's been a very wet and windy day, obviously, from Debbie. The storm really packed a punch, and I think that initial strengthening right before it made landfall in South Carolina helped bring a little bit more wind into our area. Remember, 52 mile per hour gust at PTI. That's impressive. That's stronger than what we see with most thunderstorms that move through here, honestly, even if they're strong or severe. So a 52 mile per hour wind gust is certainly impressive. I will show you, I know we've been talking about and showing some damage reports from the eastern part of the state. They unfortunately got hit pretty hard with one of those tropical rain bands that really had a lot of rotation in it, and it ended up spawning several tornadoes in the eastern part of North Carolina today. That's where the tornado risk is highest, that brown shaded area from Raleigh along I-95 and through the eastern part of the state is really our greatest risk of a spin-up brief tornado today. And then it also continues up into Virginia as well. You know, as Debbie continues further north, those bands will get pushed farther north as well. So up I-95 from Richmond to Washington, D.C., also a greater risk of maybe an isolated tornado from these tropical rain bands. But here in the Triad, I'm not worried about that. Got to think about how to put this because I don't want to give you false hope. We still have a little bit of ways to go with the rain and wind from Debbie, but likely the worst has already passed. So that's some good news. It's just a little bit longer until things really start to improve. It likely won't be until after sunset when our weather really starts to go uphill and get a lot better, but it's something we'll be watching out for. Tornado is not a concern for me here in the Piedmont Triad. Let's see. Turn on the storm reports here. We can see if any of those are showing up. Yes, we've got a couple. That one we showed you, there was one in Wilson, and then there's a couple more reports up here near Lewisburg and Centerville, just north of the Raleigh area along 401. So as those rain bands moved off to the north, lots of flooding and gusty wind reports further west in our part of the state, but tornado reports also in parts of eastern North Carolina along I-95 from this storm. So it's a big deal. I mean, it's caused a lot of impactful weather across our area. It was a strong tropical storm, and it always seems like, for some reason, it always seems like the tropical storms, when they move inland, are the ones that bring like the most impacts. I know big Category 3 and 4 hurricanes are obviously dangerous and impactful, but it always seems like the sneaky tropical storms are the ones that sneak up into the Piedmont and bring some flooding and some good wind gusts. So this is, I'll show you the latest track for Tropical Storm Debbie. It is still a tropical storm. Likely over the next few hours, it's still moving northward. It'll move right directly overhead the triad, still weakening a little bit, likely a tropical depression by that time, but our impacts are unchanged. It's not going to make a big difference in whether it's a tropical depression or tropical storm by the time it moves over us. And then from there, it lifts off to the north and really starts to shoot away from us on Friday. So really some good improving weather on the way, but we'll still have a few more hours to go before Debbie has completely exited our area. And then from there, it's moving off into the northeastern part of the country, near New York and Vermont and the New Hampshire area. As far as additional rainfall totals go, it really all depends on where those heavier bands of rain sets up. You know, like that big band I was talking about from Greensboro to Burlington. If that swings through your area, you could pick up another ½ inch or an inch just from that, just because the rain is so heavy with these bands. There's so much tropical moisture in the air. You just have to watch out for that. But not everyone gets that heavy rain band. It's only in a few isolated locations. So I would say another ½ inch to maybe 1.5 inches of rain possible from between now and the time Debbie moves out of our area by Friday morning, on top of what we've already gotten. And we've already gotten a lot. I'll show you some of those radar estimated rainfall totals in a moment. But I think somewhere around 1 inch, some will get a little less, some may get a little bit more, but that's what we'll have to deal with. Our flood risk not completely over yet. Obviously, creeks and streams are still rising, because that water has to go somewhere, right? Let's see. What I'll do now is I'll show you some of the radar estimated rainfall totals of what we've gotten so far today. This will be all updated information. Last check, it looked like most of us had gotten, let's do 24-hour rainfall. This will give us a better idea. Yeah, pretty, lots of rain. Lots of rain. You don't need me to tell you that. Let's see what the radar's estimating across most of the area. I would say most of the Piedmont Triad's gotten around 3 inches of rain, give or take. Now, of course, these estimates won't be exact. because it's just the radar's estimation of what has fallen at the ground. It really takes you with a rain gauge in your backyard to truly tell how much rain you've gotten at your house. But just a rough estimate, generally as we expected, as forecasted, east of the Triad has gotten more rain, and generally west has gotten a little bit less rain. That being said, it's raining harder in the mountains and foothills right now than it is the Triad. So these totals are adding up. These not so much. But places like Alamance, Randolph, Guilford County have probably gotten 3 or 4 inches so far. In the Triad proper, like Forsyth, Davidson, Randolph, Guilford as well, maybe 2 to 3. And then in the mountains and foothills, probably 1 to 2 as of right now. So a lot of rain. No wonder we have flash flooding and flash flood alerts, right? Certainly, it's been impactful. Lots of heavy rain, and with some heavy rain bands still moving through the area. We'll have to keep an eye on the roads. I posted on social media a lot yesterday that it is not going to be a good day to go out and about and like run an errand or something like that. You know, maybe go to Starbucks or something. If you don't need to leave the house, just stay home, you know, today, the rest of the day. It's the best idea, especially once the sun sets. Roads will be wet, it's dark. It's really hard to drive at night with heavy rain in the dark. So, you know, be careful, take it easy on the roads. I know lots of folks, it's been a long day. You're going to get off work and want to get home really quickly, right? You can do that tomorrow when the weather's nice. Today, it's dangerous to be out and about. Hydroplaning is a big concern when we get rainfall like this. So, you know, take it easy today. Be careful. We'll still have a breeze. We'll still have rain in the area by the time you're getting off work. And all this rain has to go somewhere. It's all draining. It's out on the roads. The rivers and creeks, flood-prone areas are still rising up and likely won't begin to fall until overnight and into the day tomorrow. So let me update a couple graphics here. Our meteorologist, Michelle Kennedy, is behind the scenes, of course, helping me keep an eye on Debbie, and she'll be in for the shows live later on tonight. An area we were especially concerned about flooding was Alamance County in the Haw River. We've gotten an updated forecast from the National Weather Service for the Haw River at Haw River. That's the location. I know it's kind of confusing because of the names, but there's a little town, if you don't know, in Alamance County right beside Burlington where the Haw River runs through. It's named Haw River for good reason, right? So this is the forecast for the river levels at that location in Alamance County. Right now we're at 14.7 feet. That's how deep the water is there at that gauge in Alamance County. It floods at 18 feet. Here in an hour or so, we're going to be in minor flood stage. The river has been rising really quickly. Like I've been watching the totals increase by a foot every 30 minutes, a foot more of water every 30 minutes. So needless to say, as we go through time, overnight tonight, we'll be up above 20 feet in moderate flood stage, and then by tomorrow morning, we'll be in major flood stage. Now, the record is 32.8 feet set from Hurricane Fran way back in 1996. So we aren't expecting a record-setting flood on the Haw River, but it's certainly high. There will certainly be some impacts, especially for those flood-prone areas right along the river. Expect impacts overnight and into early tomorrow morning. We're expecting a crest near 27 feet, and then things should start to slowly recede as we head through Friday afternoon and into the morning on Saturday. Lots of folks near the Yadkin River too, of course. This is the forecast for Yadkin River at Yadkin College in Davidson County. Not quite as concerned. There could be some minor flooding by the time we get into Friday night and early Saturday morning, but not as many impacts as the Haw River may create, just because, remember, the highest rainfall totals were off to the east. So the Haw River will be our main concern. Dan River could also see some flooding. This is the forecast for the Dan River at Wentworth in Rockingham County. Some minor flooding likely as we head into Friday morning, and then by Friday afternoon too at minor flood stage. But overall, the Haw River is the one, that's the big one. That's the one that will flood the most and get the highest, just because of how much rain they've gotten over the past 24 hours or so from Debbie, right? So that passing that along, river flooding is something we'll have to keep our eye on even after the rain ends with Debbie. Remember, because we've still got water running off, the river levels haven't fully risen yet, so that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. As far as wind gusts go, I expect our worst wind gusts have ended. We've already gotten past those. Those were likely this morning with that first big band that moved through earlier on when we had that 52-mile-per-hour gust at PTI Airport. Now here in the Triad, as the center of Debbie moves further up I-85 into the Triad, likely tonight around dinner time and then later on into the evening, wind gusts will calm down a little bit. It'll still be pretty breezy, and the breeze will be with us until the system fully exits our area on Friday. But you see from here and into the day on Friday, things start to get a little bit less windy, I guess is a good way to put it. This is 6 o'clock on Friday, maybe a gust anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour, but that's kind of just a normal breezy day for us as opposed to full-blown tropical storm, right, like we've been experiencing with Debbie. Let me go back. I know we're getting close to 5 o'clock, or it's almost 4:30. Sometimes the National Hurricane Center will issue these advisory statements like a little bit early, especially when there's a storm. So just checking our information here. Still have the 2 o'clock advisory. Just want to, if the 5 o'clock advisory comes out and the location is updated, you know, I'll surely pass that along to you on social media if it's not before we get off here on our on very local social media and our streaming platforms. What I'll do now is give you an idea of what I expect going forward this evening, into tonight, and then during the day on Friday, to give you an idea, because from here on out we're really starting to improve, right? Rain is a little more off and on, wind not quite as bad. I think it's safe to say we're already through the thick of it. We're through the worst of it, but we've still got a little ways to go before things start really improving. This is what the radar looks like right now, that big heavy band along I-40. From Greensboro to Burlington to Durham, driving on I-40 for the next 20 minutes or so is really not going to be fun. It's really not going to be fun. Lots of heavy rain in the area, so keep that in mind. That's something you could run into really at any point this afternoon and evening. That's what the radar looks like now. Doing a fairly good job, this model, of depicting what it looks like. As we go into 6 and 7 o'clock, the center of Debbie is likely somewhere near Greensboro, so it's really moving into our area. That backside wraparound moisture will be west of the Triad likely, since the track is really directly overhead. We'll have some showers off to the east. We'll have some showers and downpours off to the west. For the rest of this afternoon and early this evening, I expect the heaviest rain, most persistent rain, to be in the mountains and foothills, but there will still be rain elsewhere. Just the heaviest is west of the Triad, okay? So now the center is moving up through the Triad by 7, 8 o'clock. As that continues to move through overnight, you see the moisture gets pulled northward with it, and we'll begin drying out. I still can't rule out some showers or a few sprinkles left over on the backside. That often happens with these tropical systems. There will still be clouds. It will still be breezy, but our weather is much improved from where we were a few hours ago. You know, early Friday morning for that morning commute, I don't anticipate any issues. Roads may still be wet, so take it easy, but most of the rain, the bulk of the rain is moving out of our area by Friday morning. This is a brand new, fresh Futurecast, hour by hour model for you. So you're getting the latest information here with me. We're analyzing this and looking at it together here at the same time. Likely still some clouds in the area Friday morning, and as we head into Friday afternoon, some drier air begins to move in on the back side of Debbie. How about that? Look at that. Not many clouds in the area, right? We've got some sunshine. It should be a pretty nice Friday. It's shaping up to be that way anyway. It still might be gray, breezy, kind of unsettled early on, but things should start to improve through the day. Now, what this model is starting to depict is the possibility of maybe an isolated shower on Friday afternoon, because I do still anticipate the air to be a little bit warm and humid. There may still be some fuel instability for these showers to work with. So I can't completely rule out a little bit of rain Friday afternoon, but the coverage will be far, far less than what we have been dealing with today. It's just a spotty chance. And so it looks like most of the day, well, maybe not most of the day, the second half of the day on Friday is improving. We'll likely see the sun on Friday for the first time in goodness knows how long, right? Debbie finally moving out of here. Things do look to be improving, so that's some good news. Right, just one last look before you go. I'll give you a broad picture of what the rest of this will look like with Debbie here. There we go. Advance the model forward. We'll stop it there. This is early tomorrow morning, and then from there it continues moving off to the east, and we're starting to wind things down. That's a good update there for you. Things are improving. It's a few more hours until we really start to get some nicer weather, but go ahead just through the last of Debbie. Get out your smartphones. Now is a great time to scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you to the hurricane section on our website that features maps, models, safety guide, and much more. Of course, you always want to have that free WXI I-12 mobile app on your phone too. Turn on the notifications for breaking news and severe weather in your area. We appreciate you tuning in here on Very Local, online, and on our digital platforms. We hope to see you on NBC, XI I-12 at 6 p.m. for continued live coverage of Tropical Storm Debbie. Be safe and smart.